Evening, everyone, and welcome to the big debate. It's your boy, Terence Hagbo, and today we'll be talking again about the ongoing African Cup of Nations taking place in Cameroon. We'll be focusing today on the match day 2 games in Group A, specifically the game between Cameroon, the host, and Ethiopia, as well as we'll talk a little bit about the game between Burkina Faso and Cape Verde. With me in the studio today for the post-match analysis as well as the tactics is my boy Tru3lion, our football analyst. Good evening, Tru3lion, and welcome again to the big debate.
Good evening, Dr. T. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure having you here with your insight. I've spoken with some people and they very much appreciate your insights and expert analysis of most of the games you have analyzed so far. So we discussed yesterday about all the match day 1 games for all the groups, so all the 24 teams had played as at yesterday. So today the second round of games started, and this game started with Group A, the group with the host. So the first game today was between the host Cameroon and Ethiopia. So the first thing I noticed in this game is that Cameroon won its first game, but despite winning its first game, today with the game in the second game between Ethiopia, the coach made some changes, which is very interesting. Normally, you would expect that if a team win change, as they say in Cameroon, on ne change pas l'équipe qui gagne. You don't change the winning team. So the coach, the manager brought in a defender, so one in for Ongene and a midfielder in for Kunde Malone. So what do you think the coach was looking at before making these changes?
The coach was actually looking to be offensive because in his first game he played 3 holding midfielders, defending mining midfielders, and they did not create enough chances. As I said, Cameroon won, but they won by penalties. Today, you saw that he brought in more offensive players, and then they created many more chances. So he finally got what he was looking for. So he was looking for more offense against, I would say, maybe a less experienced Ethiopian team.
Yeah, just to make a correction, he actually made 3 changes because he brought in a Chupo Moting as well. Okay, great. Thank you for that insight. We'll probably discuss more on that. So now we should dive on the analysis of the game. So the game started within the first 4 minutes. In the first 4 minutes, Ethiopia had already scored. Could you give us your first half analysis of this game?
Yes, actually, what happened is that Cameroon made some changes, and if you notice, their wing backs, or let me say, the left and the right back, were actually playing very high. I'm talking about Fai on the right, and I'm talking also about Tolo on the
Tolo
left.
on the left. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I realized was some indiscipline. I'm talking about tactical indiscipline. You know, I'll analyze that goal, and you'll see that there were about 4 or 5 players that did not actually know what they were doing. They want Tolo to play high. So I will not blame him all the way, because he was playing high when the ball get lost.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the picture, Anguissa was out of position.
Yeah.
Ongla, that made 5 bad passes alone in the first half.
Yes.
Very poor. He was out of position. Then also, because the guy who actually recuperated the ball, the Ethiopian attacker recuperated the ball. That was Gabriel. Okay.
Yes.
When Gabriel actually recuperated the ball, Tolo was high. So the Ethiopian 11 shed made a run onto the right.
Yes.
And if Ngadu realized, if he was tactically aware, he should have actually tried to cover, but because it's not his nature to cover like on the left, he was actually going centrally. Then Castello, the new guy that came in also.
Yes, Castello, who came in for Ongene at the back, yeah.
He actually stopped his run because he got sucked in. I don't know why he stopped his run, because had he continued his run, when that 11 shed was crossing the ball in the box, he would have stopped the ball. but he was sucked in and somehow he stopped his run. And before he realized it was too late. Then Fai also made a bad mistake because he
So
knew
just before we go to Fai, I think we'll talk about that because that is actually
no, it's the same goal. I'm analyzing the goal.
Before we get there, so there is something else that happened before then. You realize that Tolo was a little bit up, and so when the ball was passed, did they underestimate the speed of the Ethiopians?
No,
Because
there was enough. It was not about speed. It was not about speed. This is just like when Tolo is up, there's big space onto the left.
On the
when
left,
the ball is passed onto the left, instead of Ngade pushing up more to the left in order to create, like, to defend that the 11 shed directly, he actually was going centrally. So he still allowed space instead of just making a decision to go defend immediately.
Okay.
The person who stopped also, Castillo, he stopped.
The new defender.
In order to, because if he was on the same line with Ngade, because they all started at the same line, but due to some reason, he hesitated and moved on forward. And so that's why it caused his delay. But had he kept his pace just running back, he would have caught that passing lane. But he did not. Then also,
So at that point, it gave now the number 11 shirt for Ethiopia, I don't recall his name, to cross the ball. Exactly. So now talk about when the ball get into the 18-meter box. So
the guy who
scored, the
name is Gabriel Michael, the guy who crossed the ball.
Michael.
So now also, he knows there's a defender on his back. But now his back is to the defender, so he's running. At some point, you should turn around and see the move, what the defender is going to do, what he's going to do. But he failed to turn around. And when the ball got passed in, it was an easy score. The scorer, Dawa, realized that he had an easy one. So he just ran in and just tapped in the ball.
So because when Fai and the scorer started running, they were on the same line. You would think that, Fai had seen this guy and he's going to cover him, run all the way with him to the 18 box. But eventually, it seems as if he lost him because he paid more attention trying to run back on his goal rather than knowing where the player he's supposed to defend against was.
Exactly. At a certain point, you have to turn around and see the move that the player is going to do, because the player has an advantage. You are not watching the player, but the player is communicating directly with the cross of the ball. So you should be able to turn around, So that's what caused that first goal.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the Cameroon goals eventually, but that was not all that Ethiopia did in the first half. After that goal, I believe it was after Cameroon scored, we'll talk about Cameroon goals.
Yes.
The same incident happened and the goalkeeper had to make a save. Same from the right side, they push forward.
Exactly. Tolo was actually, because the game plan was that they should use Tolo. And Tolo was open so many times,
Yes.
But if you are making Tolo to do all that work, and Grisa, who is very, very experienced, should be able to communicate well with Hongla. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I was saying. At least the defensive midfielder need to assist the Tolo when he goes up. Okay, great.
Exactly, because normally Anguissa can just push to the left in order to cover that space, and Hongla should be able to cover centrally.
In the middle, yes.
Yeah, but they were failing, and it also caused this guy to be off. Ngade was a little bit off because Ngade was always coming into the midfield to defend against Nazi, because Nazi was a danger guy. He was their playmaker. Yeah. So he was dropping into the midfield to defend against Nazi, and sometimes he was panicking because I saw once he came right into the midfield, and that's when Onana had to come out and do that save.
Yes, I remember. Yes, yeah.
Okay, nobody was there.
I think that seems to have acted as a wake-up call, especially the 4th-minute goal by Ethiopia and even the incident that happened later. So it seems as if this acted as a wake-up call. Cameroon had to wake up. So
yes.
Tell me about the Cameroon goal or how Toko Ekambi, because even before Cameroon equalized, he actually had some opportunities.
Yes, of course. The coach wanted more offense, and it all started with Choupo-Moting. Although physically he's not in good shape, maybe to drop back and defend and help in defending. However, he started that move all the way onto the left. With Toko Ekambi, they played all well. It came to Choupo-Moting. Choupo-Moting gave the ball to Abubakar, and Abubakar actually from 35 meters unleashed a good shot that was saved by the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Then it rebounded and went back to Five. Five crossed a perfect ball. That's what they say, caviar. And Togo Kami, the goalkeeper made a mistake to come up, and then he was punished. That was 1-1.
So let's talk about Faye a little bit before we go to the second. This is a player that you had mentioned before that you really didn't trust his offensive play. But today, he had apart from that ball that he crossed and led to the apparently he had he had 2 assists today.
Yes, of course. Today, I think he had a very, very good game. There were 3 players that I called out that could have won man of the match. But again, I cannot hit on him. I cannot, bash him all the time. I would say yes, today he had a good game.
Okay, that's very good. I'm very pleased to hear that. And so Cameroon equalized. It was 1-1. They played on till the end of the first half. So let's talk about the second half. It seems as if Cameroon changed some tactics or maybe some mentality. In the first half, what I noticed, and I believe you also confirmed that, was Cameroon were not moving the ball quickly.
Yes, apart from that, they were not moving the ball quickly. I think Hongla, I don't know if he was uptight or something like that, but he had a very bad match. And Visa also in the first half had a very bad match. Tactically, they were very poor. But in the second half, things went actually better.
So what changed in the second half?
Choupo-Moting. A lot of people didn't say him. Choupo-Moting was at the end of 3 of Marianne's goals. The pass, even that third goal, he was the one. Even from the second goal, he was the one that unleashed Five on the right-hand side, and Five put that cross. And Abu did this. Also, first half, I want to call this guy's name because the defender for Ethiopia, I'm talking about Ashelu, the defender.
Yes.
He had a blonde hair.
Oh, yes, yeah.
2 critical chances that Abubakar could have scored.
Yes, he stopped so many crosses from Five, crosses from Ngamelu.
Yeah, Ngamelu, yeah.
Yes.
2 critical. So but Abubakar came back and scored twice on him. So that was that was actually brilliant because that was a duel that was going on. Abubakar had to come back and score. And I said that ball that Choupo-Moting unleashed Five on the right-hand side, and Five produced another perfect cross for Abubakar. Abubakar handed the ball onto the ground, and it's difficult for goalkeepers to make those type of saves.
Yeah.
So that was the 2-1. Then the 3-1 came again. All started game by Choupo-Moting, him falling deep into the midfield and creating those opportunities. Now the ball was being served to Ngamelu, and Ngamelu was very intelligent on that ball. I know a lot of people criticized him in his first game because he was lousy. I said, man, the way I'm seeing that ball, just give him a chance. And instead of him kicking, as I've seen many people do, just tried to score by himself, he put the ball exactly where either Abubakar could have scored or the defender could have scored an own goal.
Yes, yeah. That was either an own goal or any touch would lead to a goal. Whoever touched the ball would have been a goal.
Exactly. Then come the man of the match. He had a brilliant, even in the first half, that he headed the ball onto the bar.
Yes. Yeah, before the equalizer.
Exactly. And he was spreading.
If you are talking about the man of the match, you are probably talking about this gentleman.
Exactly. And he's been in great form in league. And he also spread the field very well. If you watched, most of the long balls that was coming from Onana, he had the perfect.
Yes, yeah. It was like the Cameroon outlet, because anytime Onana had the ball, it was to the left wing, and that was to him.
Exactly. Because if you see what has been killing me with the Cameroon players is that most of them don't have a good first touch. But this guy's first touch was actually brilliant. Anytime long ball, I don't care what speed the ball is coming, he will bring it down comfortably. And look at his goal. He beat the offside trap, very disciplined. He beat the offside trap, and there were 3 players on him, but he managed to escape and score at the bottom left.
Because what he did there, he had
overran
narrowed the angle. He realized that, and there was no one there free for him to pass the ball, so he had to do everything by himself.
Exactly, and he came back, and scored a beautiful goal. And also this Ethiopian player I want to talk about that was also brilliant. Surafel, remember in the first half, he had to pull a great save also from Onana. From afar,
yeah. Oh, yes, yeah. He had that shot that actually had to push back.
Exactly. But my overall thought of this game is that in order for Cameroon, to get better, because with each game they get better. Today, I would say that the positive side is that they created more opportunities.
More chances, yeah.
And that is because they played more offensive players. They brought someone in like Choupo-Moting. But if you realize something, right, when you play Abubakar and Choupo-Moting, these guys are not young anymore. They are not physically the best anymore. You have to be disciplined.
Yes.
The back, if I had to rate each department, I'll give the back line 4/10. Yeah, I'm serious.
But would that not be because Choupo-Moting was brought in to play the deep role? As a result,
really.
and from the first game, you had 3 midfielders. So now one of them was taken out and Choupo-Moting was brought in. So the guy who was supposed to be helping the backline wasn't there to help the backline.
No. Just watch out, right?
Okay, yeah.
You had Hongra,
yes,
and Ngisa.
Yes.
Most of the times, even when Cameroon was going, they were out of position. I just explained to you the first goal.
Yes, yeah, I agree. So okay, yeah. So that's my point. So why were they out of position?
And Ngisa was higher than Tolo. To the left. It means he was not disciplined. That's your holding midfielder higher than Tolo.
Yeah. Listen, so exactly. So that's why I'm saying is it a back line or the midfielder? No, but
listen, I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming.
Okay. All right.
I was reading.
Okay.
Right? I said I give the back line 4.
Okay, great.
I think the midfield maybe brought itself back into the game. I'll give them the holding midfielders.
Yes, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I'll give them 5/10.
Yes.
Because all of the time they were out of position. So now, if you are going to play better, right? Yeah. When you have those 2 midfielders, they have to communicate better. One has to sit and protect that back line and stop maybe Ngado from trying to come and stop dangerous players, when you guys are out of position. Because that actually caused Ngado not to communicate better with Cancelo, who was actually new into the team.
Yes, I totally agree. And especially defensive, it's always for every coach and for football in general. Changing the defensive unit anytime actually brings a lot of communication issues, which probably may have been because, especially for that first goal, it seems as if both of them wanted to go to the ball, and then all of a sudden, none of them went there.
Yes, exactly. It was like both of them were undecided, right?
Yeah.
Ngado, who's more experienced, he should have gone to the left because he knew that Tolo wouldn't catch up. Then Cancelo, instead of continuing that run because the guy already had the ball and cutting down that passing lane, he actually stopped. And when you stop a second, the others are gone. You cannot catch them. And so it left Fai now exposed, and he was in no man's land.
Yeah, I totally agree. Was in no man's land, and
so for me,
would have done better if he turned and look at the.
But then I'll give the offense 9/10.
Yes,
because they made things happen.
And when you are giving a 9/10, you are including 5 in that offense.
Of course, as I said,
so,
yes.
So that is so Cameroon. Yeah, Cameroon won the game by 4-1, and so now they have qualified for the second for the round of 16 teams. Just talk briefly about the second game. So this was a game between Burkina Faso and Cape Verde. Burkina Faso needed a result because they lost their first game. Cape Verde won their first game, so they needed a result.
Exactly. If you watch the highlights and if you watch the game as a whole, you see that Cape Verde, they came out and played something that we expected them to do. And Burkina Faso actually was just more a realist, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have one of their better players, Tru3lion.
Tru3lion,
and then they had to struggle in the most part of the game. But then they scored the most vital goal that actually brought them level now, 3 points apiece with Cape Verde. But as I said, Cape Verde is a team that is not shy. And as I made a statement, and some people were not happy, I said that Cameroon is lucky to have won their first 2 games, because when you go and play, let's say if you're looking for all 3 points, you go and play against a team like Cape Verde. Those guys were playing, and they have a good background. Most of Cape Verde players, some are from Portugal, and they have that Holland, because a lot of them are Dutch, and they have that Holland culture of football. So they're good in playing in tight spaces, because the Holland philosophy of football is actually like, since they don't have enough land,
Yeah.
land reclamation.
Total football, they play ball in small spaces.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
if you could see Cape Verde, they were good in small spaces and they were good at finding spaces. So they are a very, very exciting team to watch.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Tru3lion. And so now Cameroon has qualified for the second round. They have 6 points. Burkina Faso are 3 points. Cape Verde is also 3 points. From all indications, it seems as if there might be 3 teams qualifying from this round because remember, 16 teams will qualify. We only have 6 groups, so you have the 12, the 12 top 2 teams plus 4 best third teams.
Yes.
So Tru3lion, it is also good to have. It's always good to have you here. We hope to have you here tomorrow for the post-match analysis of the Group B and hopefully Group C games. So for everyone out there, if you were watching this program, you were watching the big debate with me and Tru3lion. Thank you, Tru3lion, and for everyone out there, you have a big debate. You have a wonderful evening. You were watching the big debate. Goodbye.
Thank you.